And we can do this. And it does nothing. I got it for crafting. I'm a dummy. I thought I had to equip it. All right. Hello and well met, fellow travelers of the Gamerverse. My name is Steady Antics, and let me be the first to welcome you to Surviving the Exiled Lands, a Let's Play of Conan Exiles. We are going to start off as a beginner's guide, so that anybody new to this game who's just got it can come in, watch the first episode or two, and get on their feet and going as quickly as possible. So we're going to slow down a little bit. You can choose your male or female here, so that they can get going quicker. You've got 14 races to choose from. There's no benefit to any of them. There's no difference. It's all cosmetic, and they're all based on different regions on the map. There's 6 different religions with one that you can learn later, and there's a whole lot to cover here and way too much to cover right now. But I will tell you that if you're playing PvE, it's not as important because you're not going to summon huge avatars to destroy people's bases. So that. Crom is your least likely one to be useful for anything because he does nothing. He offers no advantage or avatar to call upon. You can't do anything with him, so it's a waste to even choose him. People usually choose these based on one of two things: either utility, based on something that the god would provide to them, or based on how hard it is to get to that trainer, because all these religions have a trainer out there except for Crom that you can go find, and they will teach it to you. Because if you don't, you can buy it, but it's 50 points, and that's a whole lot of points, so it's a waste of points. So you want to go find the trainers, get taught it. You only have to do it once, and then every time you re-roll, respec your skill points and all that, it will come back. So if we're going off based off utility, Mitra has healing, Set has poison, Yogg has healing through cannibalism, Emir has nothing good, just ice arrows and stuff. Derketo has a stamina potion, and I'm talking all first tier altars here. You get your altars through 3 tiers. Just thinking about, you'd want to consider beginning game, because by end game you're going to be all over the map and get all these guys anyway. So then that's utility, but then if you want to go based on hardest to get to, easiest to get to, Yogg, I wouldn't choose him off the bat because you can get to him first day if you want. And then the next two is be Mitra and Set are pretty easy to get to too. And you can walk right up to both of those without fighting anybody around that trainer. You might have to fight people to get to it, or animals to get to it, but it's not too bad. And then the next would be Derketo. She's over in the jungle, and she's surrounded by some recruits that will hurt you. So you have to be strong enough to be able to fight like 4 or 5 NPCs. And then there's Emir, and I think you can walk right up to him too, but he's in the cold region where you have to be higher level to get the armor and food to survive in the cold region. Personally, I would choose Set because he has a mask that you can use that is like a sand mask, because there's sandstorms in this game, and there's a sandstorm mask, but this is a lot lighter. It's not as durable, but it's a lot lighter, and encumbrance is a big thing, how much you can carry. And it has poison arrows, which are very nice for wearing down enemies while you're recuperating and stuff. You can give them damage over time. They don't do much damage, physical damage, but they do poison damage, so that's kind of nice. And they're pretty cheap to get. So that's just a rundown on the religions. If you want more healing, you can just go with Mitra or Yogg. But I would get Yogg, because you can walk up to him first day if you're not doing a walkthrough like this. where you're explaining things. Okay, then you can go into the characterization of the character. So
death is coming.
Death is coming.
Death is coming. The gods are watching.
I like learned. Female has stoic instead of.
Cut me down. The gods are watching.
She looks ridiculous with that haircut.
Death is coming.
But we're gonna go with the male on this one.
Cut me down.
With learned.
Please.
And then you get options to choose your base face. Yeah, it looks like different races really. But we'll go with the base one. Then you can choose your skin color and your hair. Most of them are shave styles, which I'm not into. And then you can also look at the face by clicking and dragging. Left or right does it. Middle click does nothing. That's all you can do with it. Make them dizzy. But it's helpful for when you're picking stuff. I'm going to leave the hair off so you can see what happens when I change facial features. You can choose your eyebrows or give them no eyebrows. I'm going to go with these caterpillars. It's perfect. We're going to go with black hair. And facial hair, same thing. And you can choose different styles. I'm going clean shaven. Eyeshadow is like it has a default like that, and you can get like war paint and stuff. But I'm going to leave it off because it kind of interrupts war paint, functional war paint that gives you actual stats and stuff later. And then you can make his face look a little different. And you can see the effect of that sometimes better if you move the chin, move the face around. I'm going to go mid-range on a lot of these just to make them look normal. I like the nose to be narrow. All the way narrow. And we'll change that. That one's kind of funny if you weep, weep. And then the mouth, you can make it thicker or thinner. I'm going to go all the way down with that too. Ears, you can make the angles go in and out. We'll just go mid-range on that. You can make them bigger or smaller. Eyes are fine. We'll go with green, maybe. Yeah, we'll go light green. You can make purple eyes, that's kind of cool. And then I'm going to go back to the head and put the hair on before I forget, because I just wanted to show you the ears mostly. Now I'm going with the standard long hair. And then you get into body features. You can go, make how big you are. I'm not sure, but I think your head will start bumping into door frames if you... So I just go as big as I can without getting into the giant range there. The big guys. If you have nudity turned on, which this server does not, then you can have partial for topless and then full for, full. And then your physicality, you can change your musculature. We're going to go, let's just go all the way ripped. Why not? And we'll make the chest size match the rippedness. We'll get some ridiculous. And then endowment is turned off because of nudity turned off. And that's all the character. So then we can go in here and you can change your name by clicking there or clicking edit. Here hangs Steady Antics, the Cimmerian, condemned to death in exile for crimes including killing a sacred serpent, corrupting the youth, singing bawdy ballads. Any who remove this body, living or dead, from the cross will be flayed alive, along with all members of their family. Those are silly. Let's get to it. I will tell you.
During the year of the Cobra, a prisoner captured by unknown means was transported into the Exiled Lands, crucified, and left to die for crimes that they may or may not have committed. Death comes swiftly on black wings, until fate intervenes.
So I'm playing on a solo. I'm playing solo, but I'm playing on a dedicated server instead of local, so that sandstorms and maybe even purges hopefully work. And I'm playing with default collection and gathering rates. I may change my mind if it's taken too long to make episodes, but I like the progression. That, you get better tools, you get more stuff. So I'm gonna try to keep with it.
Are you thirsty, dead man? Shall I cut you down from that corpse tree? It might kill you. You civilized men are soft. Your lives are not nailed to your spines.
Ow.
Where I come from, we kill our enemies in battle. We don't leave them in the desert to die like dogs. So, you live again, dead man. This land does not love men. You are marked, and you cannot cross the ghost fence wearing that. It might have been kinder to leave you on the cross. Live, love, burn with life, slay and survive. We will meet again, dead man.
It's just ripped. Muscles galore. Alright, so it's gonna load any second now, and then we're gonna start talking about the UI and get you going on knowing what all the screen looks like and why it does it do. Hey, we're in. Alright, so you move around with the standard WASD keys. In the upper left hand corner where you see that little white bar just came up a little bit, that's called your skill bar. When that goes all the way up, you'll level up, and then it'll start all over again. Below that is your standard red health bar, and below that is your stamina. When you're moving around, it doesn't go down, but if you run, it's going to go down, and then it'll come back up when you stop. And you don't want that to go all the way down, and I will definitely show you that, because I'll do it all the time, because I won't be able to pay attention. Use E to interact, meaning pick things up, open things, stuff like that. You can press and hold E. You don't have to press it every time you want to pick up a rock. I'm just walking around holding down E. It gets a little weird. I've discovered the broken highway. Okay, and below the stamina bar, from left to right, you have the water, food, encumbrance, or how much you can carry, and then temperature meter. And then below that, you have your status effects. Like right now, we're in partial shelter. And then, I don't know if you see, yeah, we'll see more about that later. And then in the lower right, you have tooltips that tell you what controls do what. And sometimes they're in the lower left if you get a bunch of them, especially when you're building. I think it's mostly just when you're building. Because there's a lot of options. And then on the upper right, we have, you have your standard toolbar down there, 1 through 8. And then up in the upper right, you have Journey. And those, if you press J, show you what you need to do. It's the developer's way of getting you to do things that you need to do in the game in a progressive manner. So it drives you through the game the way they want you to go. And they make it very incentivized because it gives you a lot of experience. So it's the best way to level in the game. So you see it tells me what I need to do here, but when I go to chapter 2, I don't know. So I have to do all of chapter 1 to get chapter 2, and there's 10 chapters. So we're going to pay close attention and do what it says. So I'm going to go up here, and it says eat interact because it wants me to read this weird stone. But we're going to climb, and that gives me that journey. And notice the tooltip is now saying release the sea. Also notice when I'm climbing, my stamina is going down. You can see and then space again to catch yourself. So you can use it to fall down walls and stuff safely. Well, as safely as possible. And then I fell again. Sometimes that happens when you get to the top. And we're probably not going to make it now. Oh no. Good. I wanted to fall off anyway. Because I wanted to get damaged so that I could show you healing. So we got to read this. But first, let's go over to this rock. They give you this nice nifty little rock with this. We've gained a level. But we're going to listen to this while I start collecting rocks and plant fibers and stuff.
Behold, bonded one, the very boundaries of civilization. Beyond the passage of our highways lie the wild places of the world, where untamed savages make endless war upon each other. You cannot pass into the endless wastes enslaved. Your bonding prevents it. Return. Follow the road. Any road. All roads lead to the city.
Yeah, meaning follow the broken highway. It is... He was telling you that there's a fence and this nifty little wrist thing there. If you take that off, you will die. And if you go past the ghost fence, and it's a green fence, we'll see it, you will die. So it's keeping you in, and it's the whole purpose of the game is to try to get rid of that. By the way, I did V to get this view, and then you can scroll in and out with your mouse wheel. Also, you can scroll into first person view and play that way, but when you have a weapon, it won't let you. So I tend to just, and I think that's P. Yeah, you can toggle with P. Let's listen to this.
I am beaten, left to rot among the ruins of the past. There are others here, slaves, bandits and cannibals, exiles from lands I've never heard of. Some of them try to scrape a life from the wasteland, scrabbling in the rocks and sand for their own place. I cannot go on. The life that I left behind haunts me. The sun over the glittering spires of Belverus is forever denied me. The smell of my daughter's hair. I will pass the ghost fence, and this cursed land will finally end me. To whoever reads this note, I leave the last of my water and this message. Stranger, you have my pity. You do not know how cursed you truly are.
He is very depressing. Poor fella. Alright, so I also forgot to point out that you can get these without knowing what they are. So it's not like if you do it, you won't get it. You got to do it again. So you'll see. We'll get some of those. So it wants us to drink on the upper. We're always going to be looking for that journeys. And in the beginning, journeys are going to come fast, but they'll slow down later. So we're supposed to drink, which we need to anyway, because you see our thirst meters in yellow, and that's not good. So we'll drink twice, and then we also need to eat, and that will get us some more. These bugs. All right, see how I'm regenerating? And my health bar is going up. That's how healing happens in Conan Exiles. There's no instant healing. It's all regenerative, and it doesn't stack. So I almost healed all the way, but I ate like 8 bugs or something like that, and I only healed once, basically. I only regenerated once. So the more you eat, it doesn't make you heal faster. And if you get harmed from, in any way, like falling, taking damage, or, get hit, you'll stop. So to heal again, you got to wait until you're done regenerating and then eat again. And then you'll regenerate the rest of the way. And I will tell you that some things do double, but most things don't. And certain foods heal quicker. And we'll get into all that later. Forgot what else I was going to say, but we'll get to it. I'm not doing a good job there. There. Okay, let's start crafting some things. We're going to make some twine. If you want to cancel, you just click on it, and that'll cancel it. We'll make 20 still. We need branches and stuff, but we can start making clothes. Let's make some clothes, because we're going to get sunburned out here. Did not click that. Okay, and you can see your craft queue. Alright, we should be able to get some branches up here. There's some branches right there. It's just what I needed to be able to make torches and bedrolls. And we got a journey for clothing ourselves. Now we still need to use a bedroll, but we're going to wait to do that until we get up by the river. Oops, I just kicked. Wrong button. And that is actually supposed to be a journey. But apparently you have to kick twice. Because every time I've ever done it, I've had to kick twice. See, I'm in fighting mode. If you push X, you can switch between that. And it comes in handy when you're carrying tools or weapons and you want to quickly not hold on to them and then switch it right back. You can do it that way. Okay, there's a bat dude up here. Let's go up by him. Interrupt his meal. Sorry, I interrupted your meal. Poor ugly fella. Okay, we got... Notice how it's telling me how many branches I have. I don't have to keep opening my inventory. It says I have 42, I have 44, I have 46. It's very helpful if you're collecting and saying, oh, I need 2 more, you know. You don't have to keep opening and looking. Okay, we have another thing to listen to. So let's do that.
Gods curse this sandstorm. We were forced to take refuge before the wind scoured the skin from our faces. There is something in the storm. Beasts. We hear the skittering of their paws outside the ruins, and their howls mingled with the screaming winds. The men are scared. I've put them to work crafting rudimentary weapons and torches from the loose stones and rough plants that dot this place. I've yet to meet a beast that liked fire, or the bite of the axe.
Or the bite of the axe. I wish I sounded like that. Super manly voice, dude. Alright. So we're on our way. We need to start looking at crafted tools. We won't have to pick up these stones and branches anymore once we have that. Let's craft a bedroll. Let's craft an improvised torch. And that's pretty much everything we can do right now. Then let's talk for a second. Let's eat a couple more bugs just so we don't starve to death. And to eat, I'm just pressing 8 because it's on my hotbar. Same with drinking, I could do 7. Oh, and we can do this. And it does nothing. I got it for crafting. I'm a dummy. I thought I had to equip it. Alright. So let's get into I for inventory. So on the left hand side we have our inventory. It tells you your level and how far you are in your skill level. Your name. You can search your inventory, which is very helpful. And you can sort, especially heavy first, when you're trying to get rid of heavy stuff. And right there is your encumbrance level. I'm 60% encumbered. And then you can filter. So you can filter by certain things. So you can only, you say, because you can get quite a bit in your inventory once you get your encumbrance up. And then you can see the total weight of things here. And then you've got your stuff down here. If it's got a hotkey, it'll show it. And you get special stuff here. It'll tell you what grade it is, how much damage and stuff it does, especially useful for weapons. And then you got your stats in the middle with your body and your armor. And then you've got crafting area over here, so it's all on one screen. And you've already seen me using that. And you've got the search and the filter in there too. And then you can go to attributes, which is, oops, let's get out of there, is G. That's the hotkey to get to attributes. You can tab through all of these, but to open them when you've got nothing open, or to switch between in here without having to tab through, you just use these hotkeys. Okay, so here's all your attribute points that you get. Every time you level up, you get points that you can spend. So I am going to tell you what they are. So strength determines the damage you do in melee. Agility is a measure of the ability to move wearing different clothing types, and it has a direct effect on your armor. It's not stamina. So if you got heavier armor, that makes it so you can't move as well. If you get this up, it'll make it so you can move better still. Vitality determines the size of your health pool. Accuracy is your ranged damage. Grit is your actual stamina and determines the size of your stamina pool. Encumbrance is a measure of ability, or how much you can carry. If you go over your encumbrance, you can still move. You just move really slow and use stamina if you try to move faster. And then survival is a measure of your ability to live in harsh conditions. It affects how easily you metabolize food. You can increase these. You get more buffs on them with certain temp ones with foods and potions, and then you get permanent ones, well, semi-permanent by armor. So armor can have strength attached to it. So we'll get into that later. And then each of these types has an extra. They have these levels. So once you get to it, you get special things like thuggery. Every blow you strike with a blended weapon deals 100% more concussive damage. Comes in very handy for recruiting. I call it recruiting. They're thralls, and they'd say thrall taking, but I call it recruiting because it sounds better. And I have an aggressive recruiting program. That's all it is. Making friends by hitting them in the head. So we want to get to that level before we start going recruiting, because it'll make it a lot easier to knock them out if you have 100% more damage. But for now, we're going to have trouble carrying things, so I'm going to pump up that. And we get a journey for getting to the first level, so I'm going to pump everything into encumbrance, until I get to that level, and then we'll start looking at probably grit. Grit is the thing I run out of the most, because when you're fighting, you run out of stamina. And then you have feats. So every time you unlock attributes, you get points available for feats. And these are your skills for doing things. Like, we're going to need to cook things, so we need to unlock that. And we're going to need to fight things. We got a journey for spending knowledge points. And we're going to need to fight things. And it's the only weapon we can get yet, so we'll buy that. These are categorized, but most helpful is search. You can search directly for it, and this will show you it sorts based on what you can get. So the green ones means that's the one you already have. Brown means it's available and you can buy it. So I could unlock those. I'm not going to spend points right now. I only have one, and we'll get plenty coming up. And then the red ones means that you can get it. You just haven't. You don't have enough points, because I can get that. I just need 50 points, which is what I told you at the character creation, that there's these religious altars cost 50 points, which is a lot. So we need to go find the trainers and learn them, and then they'll just be available. And then the ones with the lock mean we're not at the right level. So like, this is level 4. I'm at level 4, and I need level 5 to get a shield. Stats, you know what stats are. And then we talked about journeys. If you're on a multiplayer, you can do a clan. And then the map. So the map is M. I forgot to tell you, stats or feats is O, journeys J, and I don't know about clan or stats. Map is M, and then here's the starting areas. all these little ravine type areas are all the broken highway, and you can start in any of those. We just happen to start in the leftmost one, and then we're heading towards that river there so we can get some water. But I'm talking instead. So you can scroll in on the map, and you can pan. So scroll with the scroll wheel or the numpad plus minus or these buttons. But obviously scrolling with the wheel is easier. And then you can pan around by left clicking, and then you can put, oh, I'm thirsty. See what I'm saying? If you right click, you can put a marker on here. And then if you right click, you can remove like that. Okay. So and then you see it's got grids in its coordinate system. So B5, you know, so you can give general directions. Say I'm in B5. All right, we got a little bit of water left. We're done with water. So I've talked too much. We need to get up there to that water. Gotta get up to the water. But that is a lot of the stuff. All right, there we go. I have run out of stamina, and see how long it took to get back. It took a long. And when you run out of stamina and you're fighting, it's really bad because you can't even pick up your shield. You can't block. You can't run away. You can't do anything. You just got to get hit. So it's very important. Finally getting to some trees. Usually use if you hit a tree with an axe, you get wood and branches. See that? And then if you hit a tree with a pick, you get wood and bark. And you also get a journey step. All right. And then usually you would hit a rock with a pick too. Let's go ahead and make our sword. And then we leveled up, so let's get our point in there, and then we can get a shield now. So let's unlock that and then make that too. We need to use a shield to get a certain skill point. If you have an empty spot in your crafting, it should automatically go into the empty spot. So I made room for it, knew it was going to go there. Now up here is where the river is and where enemies are. We've discovered the Shattered Bridge. Now that Shattered Bridge discovery, that gives you skill points too. Not as much as journeys. What does that sound? Oh, they're fighting. So there's NPCs over there, recruits, doing their thing. There's a shellback. We'll fight those. And there's imp. That little thing over there is an imp. Those guys get mad from a shockingly long range. So we'll stay away because I don't want to fight right now. I want to put a bedroll down and get a drink. There's another campfire over there with some NPC recruits. Alright, so you can just walk up and drink it. Drink the dirty water with E. Or you can press 7 to fill your flask. Well, my flask is on 7, so you know what we can do? We can equip a torch. That'll give us another one. Another feat. Now, if we look at our journeys now, you can see I'm getting ones from other chapters I didn't know I needed to do. So that's showing that you can still get them. So we need to use that bedroll, slay, kick, and dodge. It's not showing me. Well, it's showing kick. So left control, you can kick, and you get a skill point. All right, so we can place our bedroll down, and this updates your spawn point. So if I wouldn't have done that, if I would die, I would spawn anywhere down in this beginner area. It doesn't have to be where I did before. It could be anywhere. And then you got to run all the way back. So this way, if I die, I can just be right there. Notice how it's still there, but it's not actually there. That's so you could recraft it. So I could drag it out and get rid of it. But I could have just pressed 5 and it would have crafted another one, which wouldn't have been a bad idea. It's always good to. All right, so we're going to put a fire down so we could end up cooking things. Notice this arrow. These recruits that you can get a cook, and you can put it on here to help cook faster and use less resources and cook better food. That's shellbacks. We're getting really close. They don't aggro unless you make them angry. So that arrow is where he would stand, he or she would stand. So you don't want to put it like this, or he would be inside, he or she would be inside there. So you'd want to put it like this so that they wouldn't, or like this, you know, they're gonna be positioned there. All right, put that down. And unfortunately, we are out of time for this episode. So the next episode, we're going to talk about fighting. We're going to get into the fighting. And we'll also get into cooking and how to move things around in your inventory and stuff like that. But until then, I hope you enjoyed your visit and your travels will bring you back this way. So until we meet again, keep it steady.